Alright everyone, you need to pull up a chair and listen to this, because the glossy, carefully constructed fairy tale of Meghan Markle is not just cracking, it is being systematically dismantled at its very foundation. And this time, the person holding the sledgehammer is not a palace insider, not a royal biographer, not even a political commentator. It is her own half-sister, Samantha Markle, who has stepped forward with a chilling accusation that is so fundamental, so profound, it could destroy everything. Meghan, she claims, has been lying about the most basic fact of all, her age. The woman who grew up with Meghan, who shared a home with her, is calling her out in a court of law. And if Samantha is right, then Meghan Markle is not the 44-year-old Hollywood-turned-royal figure that she claims to be. She could be much, much older, possibly 50, possibly even 52. And if the timeline that Samantha has presented is accurate, then Meghan's entire royal story, from her so-called Hollywood struggles to her fresh start with Prince Harry, begins to look like a carefully scripted, lifelong fraud. This revelation isn't just a minor, embarrassing detail, you guys. It is potentially the most humiliating and devastating blow yet to a woman who has built her entire career on image, on illusion, and on cynical, manipulative spin. Now, I know you guys are excited for more. But before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now Samantha Markle is no stranger to controversy. For years, she has been deliberately and strategically dismissed by the Sussex PR machine. She's been branded as bitter, she's been sidelined as irrelevant, she's been painted as being jealous of Meghan's success. But now, Samantha has gone far beyond just public criticism. She has taken her sister to court, and in her revived 2025 defamation lawsuit, Samantha has dropped what may be her deadliest, most effective bombshell yet. Meghan Markle's official age is a complete and utter fabrication. The documents that Meghan's PR team, her Hollywood handlers, and even the royal family's staff have pushed into the public record for years do not, according to Samantha, match the timeline that she remembers from growing up. According to Samantha, Meghan has shaved years, not one or two, but possibly nearly a decade, off her age. If Samantha is right, Meghan is not 44, as the entire world believes. She is a woman in her early 50s. And that one single fact, if proven true, could expose every single carefully built layer of her so-called truth-telling brand as a complete and total fraud. And here is where the puzzle begins to dramatically unravel. Meghan's official biography claims that she graduated from Immaculate Heart High School in Los Angeles in 1999. But Samantha, who was there, who knew the family, who saw Meghan's early life with her own eyes, insists that these dates do not add up. If Meghan graduated at the normal age of 17 or 18 in 1999, then her official birth year of 1981 would hold. But multiple records and anecdotes that have surfaced over the years suggest that she was already significantly older than her classmates. Several former students have even noted how Meghan stood out not just in her appearance, but in her maturity. She wasn't the bright-eyed, naive teenager that her yearbook photos tried to claim. She looked and she acted like someone who was already approaching adulthood, someone who was years ahead of her peers. And this isn't just speculation. It is a pattern that becomes deeply, deeply suspicious when you connect it to other events in her alleged early life. Now, here is where it gets really, really damning. Rumors have swirled for years that Meghan married very young, long before her well-documented union with the producer Trevor Engelson. The whispers point to a small, quiet, almost secret Las Vegas wedding in the summer of 1994. But here's the kicker, you guys. If Meghan was truly born in 1981, as she so vehemently claims, she would have been only 13 years old in 1994. It would be impossible. If that Las Vegas marriage story holds any weight at all, then Meghan had to have been much older than she has let on. Older by at least 5 to 7 years. And that would mean that her true birth year was somewhere closer to 1972 to 1977, which would put her well into her 50s today. Think about what this means. A duchess who has built her entire narrative on being the fresh, the relatable, The modern face of the monarchy may have been carrying around one of the oldest and most devastating lies in celebrity history. It doesn't stop there. If you dig into Meghan's school photos and her yearbooks, you see the same problem. She doesn't visually match the ages of the peers who are standing around her. While her classmates were all baby-faced teenagers, Meghan was noticeably more mature, physically, emotionally, and socially. And while Hollywood might dismiss this as just natural variation, Samantha is insisting that it was a deliberate, calculated concealment. Because let's be absolutely clear about one thing. In an industry like Hollywood, where youth is the most valuable currency a woman has, Meghan stood to gain absolutely everything by erasing a few crucial years from her record. And when she transitioned from a Z-list Hollywood actress to a royal duchess, that lie, if it is a lie, carried over seamlessly. It was cemented into her official biography, and the world was none the wiser. But now, that entire timeline is collapsing under the weight of legal scrutiny. Let's talk about Meghan's so-called struggling actress years. She has repeatedly painted this picture of herself in her 20s, grinding away in Hollywood, going to endless auditions, hustling, and just waiting for her big break. But if Samantha is correct, Meghan wasn't a 20-something ingenue at all. She was already a woman in her 30s, desperately disguising her true age while presenting herself as a rising starlet. This doesn't just rewrite Meghan's career, it fundamentally undermines her credibility as a storyteller. Every struggling young actress anecdote in her interviews, every speech about being overlooked in her 20s, every carefully crafted moment of so-called relatability may have been pure, unadulterated invention. And worse, it means that Meghan didn't just lie to the public, she may have lied to Hollywood executives, to producers, to casting directors, and eventually even to the royal family itself. By the time Meghan met Prince Harry, her age deception, if Samantha is telling the truth, was already a well-oiled, well-practiced machine. What had started as a cynical career move in Hollywood had now become the very foundation of her royal persona. And this is why this scandal is so much bigger than just Hollywood. The palace may have been fooled too. When Meghan entered the royal family, her official biography was presented to the world with a polished, perfect timeline. But if that timeline is false, it means that the palace, an institution that is built on records, on archives, and on meticulous vetting, completely failed to uncover one of the simplest and most basic truths, Meghan's real age. And critics are now arguing that this isn't just sloppy vetting, it's catastrophic. The monarchy prides itself on tradition, on transparency, and on lineage. If a duchess can allegedly smuggle in a completely fabricated birth year, what does that say about the credibility of the entire institution? This is why Samantha's revelations cut so deep. They don't just expose Meghan. They expose the palace as having been either negligent or, perhaps even worse, complicit in allowing this lie to stand. And let's get real. If Meghan has been lying about her age, this isn't just a PR problem. It could be a serious legal issue for her. Think about all of the casting contracts, the age-based negotiations, the endorsement deals. If a brand believed that Meghan was 10 years younger than she actually was, then every single contract she signed under that illusion is now tainted. Fraud, misrepresentation, breach of trust. The list of potential legal ramifications goes on and on. And let's not forget the financial angle. Meghan has made millions upon millions of dollars by selling her story, by writing books, and by signing those massive deals with Netflix and Spotify, often leaning heavily on her carefully crafted timeline as a young, modern woman. If Samantha's claims hold any weight, those entire projects, that entire $100 million empire, could be built on a foundation of pure, false pretense. For Meghan, this isn't just about public humiliation. This could become a financial disaster that unravels everything that she and Harry have tried to build. But here is the most dangerous part of all for Meghan. The public does not forgive liars. When you sell yourself as authentic, as relatable, as transparent, and then it turns out that your very birth date may have been fabricated, everything else that you have ever said is immediately thrown into doubt. If Meghan has been lying about her age, critics are now rightly arguing she has likely lied about much more. Her family estrangement, her so-called royal oppression, even her claims about motherhood. It creates a devastating domino effect, where one foundational deception unravels all the rest. Public trust is a fragile currency. Once it's gone, it is nearly impossible to recover. And right now, Meghan's is evaporating at record speed. And finally, let's address Meghan's predictable silence. Since Samantha has reignited this age scandal in a court of law, Meghan has remained tight-lipped, offering no proof, no records, no counter-argument. And in the world of public image, that silence is not neutral. That silence is damning. If Meghan had the paperwork, the birth certificate, the school records to shut this all down, she could release them tomorrow and make her sister look like a fool. The very fact that she hasn't and will not only fuels the suspicion. Instead, her strategy seems to be the same one she has used time and time again: discredit the critic, threaten with lawsuits, and hope that the scandal just disappears. But this is not disappearing. It is growing. And now, thanks to Samantha Markle, the world is asking the questions that Meghan has so desperately hoped would never be asked. So, where does this leave Meghan Markle? She is facing her half-sister in court. She is facing a possible age scandal that undermines her entire career, and she is facing a crumbling public trust that could destroy both her royal and her Hollywood legacies forever. But the real question remains: if Meghan has been lying about her age for all these years, what else has she lied about? This isn't just about a celebrity shaving a few years off their age. This is a story about a potential fraud on a global scale, a woman who may have built her entire life, her entire brand, on a foundation of pure, unadulterated lies. And the truth is finally coming out. What do you guys think of this whole insane situation? Is this the final nail in the coffin for her brand? Let me know everything you are thinking down in the comments. Let's really get into this because it is just mind-blowing. Until next time, take care. Ta-ta and bye for now.